Hello everyone, I am Aarav and today I am back with another video. So a few days ago, we released the two-chapter preview of our first book, Remmers Rise, and I was really happy with all the support everyone showed, and I'm just really glad so many of you are excited about where this is headed. I'm very excited about this too. So of course, not everyone likes reading books. So this video is for those people. I have the printout of the two-chapter preview, and I will be reading it today for everyone who would much rather listen than read. So without any further ado, let's start. Chapter 1. People running, screaming. The same man floating above the same planet. The alarm sounds. He was familiar with it all. Sean woke up, breathing heavily. The same nightmare! He screamed in frustration. Clearly, he's fed up. For the past 2 weeks, he's occasionally been having the same nightmare. He didn't know what any of it meant, and he didn't want to. The door opened, and his father, Elliot, walked in. Well, looks like you already woke up. Big day today, huh? Come on, get dressed and come down for breakfast, he said, with the same happy look and bright smile. His father was what you would call a well built man. He was solidly built and dark haired. Sean himself was above average height and somewhere between slim and sturdy. Sean got ready, combed his brown hair, wore his favorite blue shirt and beige pants, still with the nightmare fresh in his mind. He hadn't talked to his father about it, nor any of his friends, and he wasn't sure if he should. He brushed off the thought and started thinking about today. Today, the results of his Remmer examinations will be announced. He might get selected in a Remmerian team. A Remmerian team consists of 8 Remmers, all of which have to pass their examinations to be selected, obviously. Sean made his way down the stairs and saw his father making breakfast. Another reason why today was so important. He wanted to make his father proud. Elliot himself was part of a Remmerian team, where he had met Sean's mother, Sally. After the attack which killed Sean's mother, Elliot quit the team and started working as an IRO agent. Now, I realize that I should have mentioned what IRO is. Apologies for not mentioning that. So, the IRO is the Intergalactic Remmers Organization. I don't understand how it slipped my mind, but that's what the IRO is. All right. Elliot, seeing his son, put his plate down on the table. So, are you excited? He asked. I guess I don't really think I passed though. His father gave him the usual look and said, Listen, Sean, I've seen your skills and you've made me proud. So I don't care if you pass or not. You'll still be my son. Yes, your son was the only Electronio in the great Peterson family, Sean replied. His dad, fed up with having this conversation multiple times, said, Hey, you know that I'm completely okay with you not being an Inferno. You being an Electronio doesn't make you less of a Peterson. So I think it's pretty obvious. Electronio and Inferno are basically how they're classified into different powers. And Electroniosis, for example, which is Sean's very varied subject, is one of the 8 subjects taught at the Remmers Academy. Sean sighed. His father's words provided him with only comfort, not confidence. Still, he ate his breakfast, and while he was making his way to the door, his father stopped him. He gave him a little box, and inside it was a ring with the letter S on it. Uh, a ring? Sean tried to sound enthusiastic. Yeah, the first piece of jewelry I bought your mother, his father said. When me and your mother started going out, she always used to look at this one ring every time we crossed a jewelry shop. So, this is the ring I proposed with. Quite romantic. Wow, Dad, straight to the proposal. Could have given it to her on her birthday, Sean exclaimed. Yeah, we kind of rushed things, but she didn't mind. The ring was kind of small, so she always used to wear it on her little finger. Sean slid the ring onto his little finger, like mother like son. It fits perfectly. Thanks, Dad. Chapter 2. After exiting the house, Sean took a look back at it. It was fairly big. His father had gotten it as part of his IRO package. The house made Sean think back to when his father had brought him to this planet, Ovis, from Earth, where he had lived with his uncle and aunt and his annoying cousin. Sean was just 7 years old. He'd been studying in the general school back on Earth and he'd made friends. And he didn't want to start over again. It was a difficult time coming to Ovis, probably because the house they used to live in wasn't even half as big as the one they lived in now. Then his father joined the IRO and got a serious upgrade. So, um, after I got done writing chapter one, I realized that I haven't mentioned that we're not on Earth. So I didn't want to give the readers a wrong idea. Suddenly they'll be like, why are we in a different solar system? So of course I had to mention. I gave a little line here, um, which brought him to this planet Ovis from Earth. So of course, if you watched our first "What is the Remmers" episode, we mentioned in that the book takes place around on the planet Ovis is the main kind of planet where the Remmers originated from, and along with them in that solar system are the planets Zivis, Maximus, Avius, and Farius, and the star is called Avium, not to be confused with Avius. It was a short walk from his house to the academy, the Remmers Academy, where he had been studying the ways of being a Remmer for the past 6 years, and now he would find out if it was all worth it. He walked through the black, rusted gates of the academy. The academy itself was pretty big, considering it had to accommodate 4 grades and 2 grades of 8 varied subjects. Sean's varied subject was electroniosis, which meant that he could manipulate electrical fields and, if he became strong enough, generate electricity by himself. Sean walked to the notice board, which was surrounded by a crowd of students, some walking away in disappointment. Sean wished he wouldn't be one of them. Squeezing his way in, he started searching for his name on the list of sheets put up, and that's where he saw it. Sean Peterson, passed primary exam, now in training team 0406. He'd done it. Sean was ecstatic. He'd done it. He'd actually done it. But of course, there was more to come. This was just the start of a very long journey. The crowd so slowly dispersed, and so did Sean. He noticed Amy Smith walking into the academy. She was of average height, with sharp green eyes that always seemed to be analyzing everything around her. Her dark brown hair was tied back into a tight ponytail, though a few loose strands always seemed to escape, framing her face. She carried herself with quiet confidence, her athletic build making it clear that she was no stranger to combat training. Amy was his friend from the academy. She was smart but also easily annoyed. She took weapon conjuring as her varied subject, and she packed quite a punch. As he walked up to her, he noticed her looking very nervous. Concerned, he asked her, "Hey, what's wrong?" She smiled and said, "Nothing, just scared about the result." "Really?" Of all people, Amy Smith is scared? She laughed. "I know it's dumb, but what if I don't pass?" "Well, I would say that if you don't get selected, the examiners don't know what they're doing." "Sorry, I forgot to ask about your result," Amy said. "No, it's okay, but I passed," Sean replied. "That's nice. Congrats," Amy said. "Thanks, Sean. I'm gonna go check the result." "Yeah, you do that." Amy had just walked off as Sean saw his best friend John running towards him. He looked like he was going to explode. "Sean!" he screamed. Sorry, he screamed. "Whoa, calm down there, man," Sean said. John and Sean, I just realized those names match. Okay. John and Sean had been friends ever since Sean arrived on Ovis and joined the academy. At first, Sean wasn't sure if they'd get along. John was always buried in research logs and complex equations, not exactly the type to get caught up in training tubes. But when Sean struggled with some of the academy's more technical lessons, John had been the one to break things down for him in a way that actually made sense. John was lean, with sharp features. John was lean, with sharp features and dark brown hair that always looked a little messy, like he had stayed up way too late reading. His hazel eyes were constantly darting around, always observing, always analyzing. Most people just saw him as a quiet bookworm. Most people just saw him as a quiet bookworm, but Sean knew better. John was John wasn't just about theories and tactics. He was someone who would always have his back, someone who never stopped thinking of ways to help his friends, even if it meant overcomplicating things sometimes. So, what's up? What's up? Sean, I just got selected as the newest member of the Remmers R&D branch, John said, trying not to explode. Well, that's great. Congrats. Thanks. What about your result? John asked. Oh, yeah, I passed, Sean replied. Then, out of the corner of his eye, Sean saw Andrew Johnson and Ethan Williams coming his way. Those two did everything together. Andrew was born and raised on Ovis, and he was, well, kind of a tool. His brown hair always looked like he never combed them. And he was really tall, which meant talking to him caused serious neck issues. He hadn't scored much on his written exams in the previous grades, so Sean was expecting him to make the cut. On the other hand, Ethan was born on Earth and spent most of his years there, in a city called London, which is why he has an accent. He always wore fancy looking clothes which fit his broad build nicely. He was one of the smartest in class, so unlike Andrew, Sean was expecting Ethan to be one of his teammates. There are some varied subjects which require you to have amazing combat abilities to fight while on missions. One of these subjects is plane formation, which is Andrew's subject, and he could form a platform to defend himself, but that's mostly it. Ethan's subject, on the other hand, is quite useful. He's a shapeshifter, so he can transform his molecules to become stronger, or he can become an entirely different creature. The two made their way over to Sean and John, and surprisingly, both of them were brimming with joy. Hey guys, what's up? Andrew asked. Nothing much, just talking about how the two of us passed the exams, Sean replied. Oh wow, that's great. Congrats, Ethan said in his British accent. Thanks. What about the two of you? Sean asked. I passed, but he just barely did, Ethan said. Andrew snorted. Sure did. But hey, at least now you're all still gonna be together. Sean sighed. That's a pleasure. Sean was happy and surprised at the same time. Ethan had passed. That was great, but somehow so had Andrew. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out from behind them. Hey, losers! Sean turned to see Zach Daniel, grinning from ear to ear as he approached them. Zach was hard to miss with his tall frame and messy brown hair. His varied subject was Inferno, meaning he could control and manipulate fire. He was known for his friendly and approachable nature, always quick to engage and easy to get along with. But today, there's something different about him. He was practically bouncing with excitement. Zach! Sean exclaimed. You made it too? Of course I did. So Zach said with a proud grin, as if the idea of not passing had. Of course I did, Zach said with a proud grin, as if the idea of not passing had never even crossed his mind. Now, 0406 has some real firepower. Sean chuckled as Zach's eyes casually flickered towards Amy, who was still by the notice board. So, Amy made it too? He asked, more casually this time. Sean smirked. Yeah, she's checking her results now. Go ahead if you're curious. Zach gave a small, sheepish shrug. Maybe later. Don't want to look too eager, he said with a playful grin, before refocusing on the group. But first, let's celebrate. We're all in the same team. There came a loud laughing noise from the entrance. What was that? John asked, after getting rattled from the noise. This is the introduction of one of my favorite characters, by the way. I really, really like this character. The others, however, weren't so shocked. The laughter came from none other than Brett Hoover. Brett's very subject was tidalation, the ability to manipulate water in all its forms, whether it was bending streams mid-air, controlling ocean currents, or even extracting moisture from the air itself. With, with talent like that, he would easily overwhelm opponents with powerful waves or shape water into precise cutting blades. Yet, despite his impressive abilities, Brett never took himself too seriously. He was the comedic relief of the class, always cracking jokes and lightening the mood, no matter how tense things got. With his sandy blonde hair, always a little tussle, and a mischievous glint in his sea blue eyes, he looked like someone who had just pulled off a prank, or was about to. But while he had a carefree attitude, Brett was no slacker. He excelled in his studies, particularly in titillation, where his precise control over water made him one of the best in their class. Walking beside him was Tom Simon. If Brett was easygoing jokester, Tom was the complete opposite. He was the top of the class, sharp, disciplined, and always focused. He had short, jet black hair and piercing green eyes that seemed to analyze everything in an instant. He was the kind of person who never settled for anything less than perfection, whether it was in academics, combat, or a subject. Earthing, which allowed him to manipulate the structure of rocks and terrain. While Brett's energy was loud and chaotic, Tom carried a quiet intensity, the kind that made people instinctively take him seriously. Despite their differences, Brett and Tom had been best friends for years. Brett's jokes never seemed to get under Tom's skin, if anything. Tom just sighed and put up with them, like a long suffering older brother. And while Tom kept Brett grounded, Brett made sure Tom didn't take himself too seriously. It was an odd friendship, but one that worked perfectly. As they came out of the group, it became clear that both of them got selected. Looking at your expressions, I'm guessing both of you are also in on 406, Zach said. Brad replied with a merry tone. Yeah, we are, baby. The dream team is coming together. Now we just need to make sure Zach doesn't set anything on fire again. Zach's expression became flushed. That was by mistake. Okay, whatever, love boy, Brett said with a smirk on his face. Brett looked over to the gate and nudged Tom. Tom, look who just walked in. Tom glanced towards the gate and spotted Millie Brown, his rival in everything, whether in combat, training, or academics or practical tests. They were always evenly matched, constantly pushing each other to be better, or as I saw it, to win. As far as Sean knew, they couldn't stand each other. Millie strode in with a usual confident smirk, her short auburn hair tied back in a loose ponytail. Sharp eyed and quick witted, she never backed down from a challenge, especially if it meant one upping Tom. She specialized in aerokinesis, manipulating wind into razor sharp gusts, barriers, and sudden bursts that could knock an opponent flat before they even knew what hit them. He rolled his eyes at her arrival, already bracing for whatever sarcastic remark she had lined up. Um, he means Tom, not Sean. I just realized that mistake. Millie noticed Tom looking at her and said, Careful, Simon. Staring that hard might make you think you actually like me. That made the entire group chuckle, except for Tom, but they went serious after Tom stared at them angrily. Amy had joined the group by this time, catching the attention of Zach. Zach grinned and asked her, So, did you pass, or are you still working on that charm of yours? Amy smirked. I passed, thank you very much. What about you? Oh, me? Zach pretended to act surprised. Yeah, I passed, no big deal. Congrats, Amy said. Thanks, you too. Millie reluctantly joined the group, it being obvious that she was also part of the team. Sean looked around at everyone. So, this is the team? Andrew chuckled and said, Looks like it. There fell a silence of realization. These 8 people were now connected with each other for the rest of their lives. Up until their team is retired, all of them will be a team. They'll be a part of the Remmers. And that is the first 2 chapters of Rise, our very first book. Honestly, I feel like these were the perfect 2 chapters to have to release a preview out. It's all our main characters now, and I'm really glad that you do. And as I said before, I'm really glad with all the excitement, all of you, excitement and support all of you have shown. Of course, we'll have a lot more coming up in the future. Very soon, we will have a video out. What is the Remmers episode 2? That's right, we didn't abandon that series. Of course, What is the Remmers is a series explaining the lore behind the Remmers. And, I'm really happy that, this project has really picked up, and really happy that I have the support of all of you guys. Um, so, anyways, that was it for today. Make sure to check out our next videos. Till then, Remmers out.